Hi everyone, and welcome to Backchat. Welcome to Yoga Berry, your yoga for scoliosis community. My name is Christine Jareggi Berry. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for scoliosis. Now, this chat is happening every Wednesday, 4 o'clock UK time. So do check out what that means for you. Usually, this is a live event, so it's you get the opportunity to ask your questions live. However, this week is slightly different. So there is no live chat, but you still get your back chat, and you can still obviously leave me any comments and let me know your thoughts, getting involved in the conversation. As always, please let me know as well if there are any topics that you're particularly interested in hearing more about. Sometimes I have live guests, and I love to invite people that know more about a specific topic than I do. Um, so yeah, let me know what you want to hear a little bit more about. Today, I'm going to talk about motivation and how to stay motivated in your yoga practice because we all know yoga only works if you actually do it, right? So that is sometimes the biggest kind of hurdle, and sometimes that's the biggest thing. And even if you have kind of been practicing yoga and you know that it's really good for you, you know, you've seen all the benefits, sometimes we can start to kind of drop off a little bit. And then I find definitely sometimes it gets a little bit difficult to get back into it. Um, so this is a reason why I wanted to chat to you today about motivation, how to kind of get back into it if you've kind of dropped off, or how to start it and get into a regular yoga practice. And I find especially this time of the year, I don't know how about you, but for me, this is always in the UK. It gets, it gets dark really, really early. It's all a little bit depressing, even though, yes, we've got Christmas to look forward to. But I find I'm occupied with everything else, decorations and baking things and stuff like that, but not so much looking after myself. So I find it's especially important um, to find some ways to keep ourselves motivated. So I've got 6 points for you today, which I'm going to cover. I'm going to go straight into it. So number one, very important, is make sure you schedule a time for it. So ideally, you would have the same time every single day. That just makes it easier, I think, because then from a mindset point of view, you know this is coming up. That's when you're going to practice yoga. And obviously, you need to make it fit into your schedule. And some people are morning persons and you like a practice in the morning just to get your body moving and get going. Some people prefer an evening practice to kind of wind down and get ready for bed. If you have lots of time, do both, obviously, but I would keep it really simple. Make sure that you can find a time that suits you. And for me, this is not always the same time. So I kind of have to plan my week ahead, and I will schedule in the times when I practice yoga and when it's that time for me. So that's number one. You need to prioritize your practice. You need to schedule it in. And that might mean that something else might have to go. And that might be, not watching an hour of Netflix, for example. Just thinking about it. So number two is pick an amount of time that you're going to practice every single day that is actually realistic. Um, so with yoga, in my opinion, a little and often is better than a big amount of time, once in a while. So I would prefer to practice 5 minutes every single day over 1 hour once a week. Um, just that continuity just gives you a little bit more of the benefits, in my opinion. If you use that time to kind of reset, to balance whatever you've been doing during the day, you're much better off choosing a small amount of time, but doing it regularly, doing it every single day. So, how much time you're going to dedicate to your practice is completely up to you. But I would recommend to make this amount smaller than you might think. And if you're finding this difficult, if this is completely new to you, start with 5 minutes, literally. You're you're committing to taking 5 minutes out of your day every single day, and you're going to do it. Now, if you're then on the mat and you think, well, actually, I can do a little bit longer, then, obviously go ahead. But the minimum amount that you're going to do is 5 minutes. So that would be my recommendation. Obviously, if you feel like, well, 5 minutes, that's, I've got so much time, why would I only dedicate 5 minutes? Of course, make it longer. But if you're struggling with this already, if you're finding it difficult, then start with 5 minutes. You can always practice more if you want to. If you're already on the mat, very, very likely you will probably stay a little bit longer. But this is just to trick your mind a little bit and make sure that you can stick to it and make sure that you can commit to practicing 5 minutes every day. Good. Number 3 is a little bit of a different one. And this is really, really useful, again, if you're finding it difficult to prioritize your yoga during the day. So, and if you're finding that this is something, um, especially in the beginning, it can sometimes be a bit more of a thing of, I know I need to do this, but I'd rather sit on the sofa and do nothing, put my feet up, right? So, pick a reward that you're going to give yourself when you've done your yoga practice. And remember, it does not have to be a big yoga practice, it can just be a small one. So, obviously, if you are doing 5 minutes of yoga, then your reward is not going to be, I'm going to buy myself some new shoes every time I practice 5 minutes of yoga, right? That is not quite, it has to be kind of in proportion, obviously. And again, you get to pick this. So for example, I've committed to practicing 5 minutes of yoga every day. Once I've done that, I'm going to have a cup of tea because I really enjoy tea and I really enjoy the process of making the tea and then sitting on the sofa and drinking it. So it can be something very, very simple. Obviously, if you have committed to a longer practice every day, maybe it's a slightly bigger reward. Maybe it's, for example, listening to your favorite podcast, or maybe it's watching half an hour of your favorite TV show. So think about this and think about what could you kind of attach to this practicing of yoga. Also, on this note, vice versa, the yoga cannot be a reward for something else. So what I mean by that, um, don't think about it as once I've done all the things that I need to do, then my reward is that I get to practice the yoga, right? That's no, no, we're not going to do that. So the practicing your yoga, remember coming back to priority, you're going to prioritize this. This is a scheduled thing that is going to happen. Otherwise, it becomes really, really difficult. So that was reward. Number 4, I love this, and I use this with my students in my group classes all the time. And it's not just, it's part of the yoga practice and it's part of body awareness and it's part of mindfulness, but it's also really useful for motivation. So, what we do is we will have a check in at the beginning of the practice. So, we will lie down and I get everyone to focus for a moment on how they feel right now. Very simple. So just kind of simple body scan, notice, take a moment to notice how you feel before the practice. The same thing you're going to do after your practice. After your 5, 10, 15 minutes of yoga, whatever you picked, take a moment, notice how you feel. Notice what has changed. And this is super, super powerful because once you know that you actually feel immediately better after doing your practice, it will give you so much motivation to keep going. And I have people that come to my classes every week, and then sometimes I don't see them for a couple of weeks. and they're like, oh, I missed my yoga so much, even though I know that I feel so much better. They finding it actually really difficult to stay away. So they come back because they know that they're always going to feel better after the yoga session. So really, really important. So that would be my point number 4 is taking a moment to notice how you feel before the practice and after the practice. Right, let's get to number 5. This is an interesting one, and um, I use it sometimes. I don't use it all the time, but I think it can be really, really useful. So number 5 is track your practice. And if you've ever used a fitness app or something like that, or I used Headspace, for example, as a meditation app, is really, really good. There will be a kind of an option to track your progress, or sometimes they actually just do it for you. So, for example, there's a streak, like you've practiced 7 days in a row, and that makes you feel really good, right? And then then you miss a day, and then it motivates you to kind of get back into this, and you want to build this up. You want to make that streak longer. So that can be really, really useful. And I use this in my online course, my Yoga for Scoliosis Practice Transformation, which is coming up in January. And we do have a progress sheet or a practice sheet, and that's not so much about um, tracking how you're getting better at something, because that's not so much what yoga is about. It's about tracking, well, your progress in terms of how you feel, first of all, but also that it kind of it gives you some accountability. You're practicing every day. You're checking in every single day. So that is a really, really good way of kind of keeping yourself motivated. And maybe you just tick it off in your calendar. Maybe that's your practice sheet. Very simple. Don't have to buy anything. It can just be simple, tick in your diary, job done. That's it. And then you can look back and can look at all the times when you have been practicing. Right. Number 6. So this is a really important one, and that is accountability, right? And accountability, um, obviously you can try and use yourself as an accountability partner if you are super disciplined, and this is your way of, you're doing your tick boxes, and you're making sure that you're doing the things every day. However, if that doesn't work for you, find someone else who might also be doing something so that you can kind of motivate each other to do a practice, or find a community. Now, Yoga for Scoliosis community, most of you know there is a Facebook group, use that. But then also use my Instagram. So I'm just going to bring this up here. I'm doing a challenge at the moment, and I'm doing this specifically to get you to be motivated before Christmas, right? After Christmas, and January is usually the time when everyone is like, yes, I'm gonna do all the things. I'm going to get fit and healthy. No, you can do this now, right? So I'm running a 10-day yoga challenge over on Instagram for you. You can see my Instagram handle down there, yogaberry.scoliosis. It's free. All you need to do is you sign up for it, and the link is in the description below. Then you go on Instagram and you check out the posts. So we're starting today, which is the 2nd of December. You check out the daily post. You do the post, obviously. That is part of your 5 minutes of yoga every day. And then once you've done it, you just comment underneath the post. You can comment, you can tell me what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, it was difficult, it was really easy. Engage with other people. This is also part of your accountability. Obviously, everyone will know that you have committed to this, and you will hopefully get to know each other as well in the challenge. So it's just a very, very fun way of getting some accountability. So you have committed to this 10 days of yoga. You know it's not going to be overwhelming. There's just one yoga pose every single day. And then obviously once you're there, maybe you do a little bit more, right? But the minimum that you're going to do is one yoga pose every single day. So I really hope that you can join me for that. I really hope that these tips have been useful to you. If you want to join me for the practice transformation, I'll just bring it up. It's coming up in January, which is my longer course. It goes over 4 weeks, and there's a whole like library with videos and lectures. We have 4 practice sessions, 4 live sessions where you can ask all your questions, where you get to practice a little bit more. There's the practice plans, which I've already been talking about. And all of that, once you're in, once you've done the program, then this will be available to you afterwards as well. So you get to keep your all the material. But it's a great way to personalize your practice. So we've talked about motivation today, right? But then for scoliosis, it's really, really important that you start to have a practice that is customized to you. And that's exactly what you're going to be learning um, in that course. Right. So it's been a really fun talking to you today. Make sure you tune in next week at 4 p.m. when we're back live and you can ask your questions. I'll do another Q&A and that's always really, really fun to talk to you. So have a great week and I'll see you soon.